it is Modest Mouse, one of my favorites, a band that I have held close to my soul ever since the Good News for People Who Love Bad News and the Float On Days and the Ocean Breeze Salty and all of that. We've been playing Modest Mouse on the radio much longer than that, but we are here to celebrate their visit to San Diego. And Isaac Brock, singer, guitar player, founding member of the band, is here in video at a co-op.
Yeah, I rode a bike over to a co-op thinking it'd be nice and quiet. I'm under a flight path. So it might get washed out a bit.
Did you cruise into the co-op? They got any good snacks?
I'm trying to make, my friend had the recipe for original Coke, and it involves a lot of essential oils. And so I got going. I'm trying to make sugar-free Coke out of monk fruit sugar and things. Let's just say the pandemic wasn't kind to me, or the fridge was. No, anyways. Yeah, so
nobody's mad. You get a couple years grace to get back to our fighting shape.
Yeah.
You look great,
or at least running away from fight shape,
Don't get in a fight with this many pounds on you. That's what they say. You can't get off your back. Same here. I'm speaking your language. So you are a person that says, don't answer questions that you don't know the answer to. It's a line that I live by, and I want to ask you about that, because that's a learned ethos, right?
Well, I mean, that's tricky, because I say that, but acting on it's pretty hard, because just like any reflex, I think your reflex to, if asked something, you try and fulfill that, that need to be like, oh, this, but no, I'm constantly answering questions I don't have the answer to, although I don't believe I should.
Well, I'll tell you, I do that myself. I'm a person that is very curious in life, and if I don't know the answer, then I'll come back to the person and ask them, what do they know? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's I don't know, it's curiosity. It's kept me in the game this long. I've been doing the radio thing for almost as long, maybe almost as long as you've been making music professionally, since the early 90s, out of Issaquah, Washington, man. I mean, how does that feel to be in the game that many years now? Almost 30-ish.
Like anything in life, it went by quicker than I thought, I still feel like it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a business where there's a lot of gaps too. So, I haven't had to show up at the same desk exactly, every day for 25 years or so. So a lot of variety in the schedule.
Yeah. Well, early jobs you've had. I mean, as you have, I come to work at the radio station every day, and something's new, whether it be the music, the news. We're always pushing the forward creativity of ourselves and stuff like that. Did you ever have a real job? Were you ever at a desk?
A desk job?
Well, you said desk. I haven't been at the same desk.
Yeah,
so
no,
a real job, I guess.
I don't think I'm qualified for most of those. I've had lots of cleaning meat truck jobs and the such, door-to-door sales of oil changes, or let's call these odd jobs.
Yeah, odd jobs.
Restaurants, prep cooking, shit like that.
Yeah, well,
landscaping.
Put in some sprinklers, pull some weeds. I get it. So door to door, what did you sell door to door? That's interesting. I have done that as well.
I sold Firestone oil changes for only $19.99. You can get four oil changes, 2 tire rotations, a breakage. I don't remember the whole spiel. No.
You had the spiel.
Yeah, plus our 21-point preventative maintenance analysis. It was a good job, but at the time, for a commission job, they paid me, a whopping $8 an hour, which was something like $4 over minimum wage, or a few dollars. So I was like, at the age I was at for that one, I wasn't very incentivized to actually sell these things. And I think I pocketed more than I sold. And I just wait till I was out of sight and go read a book half the time. And then if they'd be like, we got to have one of the a manager come out with you and see why you're not being able to move any of these things. I'd try my darndest, and they'd be like, I don't know why you're not selling any. I mean, you're doing everything right. And I'm like, and I lucked out when I was actually on the spot to show them, to display me selling stuff. And I tried hard. No one bought, because if people had actually started buying when I did that, they'd be like, something's fishy here and things. But well, because it was a really good deal. 4 oil changes for $20 is a pretty good deal.
And if you ever changed your own oil, you know that's a pain in the ass. You don't want to do that. I mean,
I did a lot of changing my own oil.
Gotta have the jack, gotta have the stands. I sold turtles, Goo clusters, door to door.
Okay, I thought you said like actual turtles. I was like, that is a hard thing.
They do that in Chinatown in San Francisco. I lived there. I lived right by that little store, and I was like, if I wanted turtle soup, I know it's illegal, but I could. I mean, probably as complex as making your own Coca-Cola, is getting the recipe. Nothing had to die though.
I mean, I don't know anything about turtle soup. It requires a turtle. But you sold the candies.
I did, and I think about that now, getting in front of people, being in front of a crowd, being on the microphone and stuff like that. I feel when I look back, that was sort of an icebreaker or a courage builder for being able to get up in front of people and succeed or fail, right? And have an individual's attention and have these interpersonal conversations with somebody and their pocketbook and, you know, what they were or weren't going to commit to. Do you ever think about that and that being like a sort of a self-esteem builder maybe?
No, none of that for me. No, I mean, I had an old lady pull a gun on me once. That was fun and things. And then, like, as they'd set us out, like, you know, like after dark, and then just like, you know, some 19-year-old showing up, you know, to your door, with some crazy story of cheap oil changes. And the worst was people who used to work in sales. Like, I'd get these guys who'd bring me in, like their family's eating dinner, and like quiz, like, see if I had what it took to really do sales. Put me through, you know, like, I think they were drinking. No, yeah. I don't.
See if this kid's got the mustard. I'm going to give him a 20-minute test here, right?
Like I said, I don't think I walked away from that job with anything more than a stack of free oil changes and this story.
Yeah. Well, did you ever have a fright of getting in front of people? It seems like you're a guy who's played to thousands and probably 100,000 person show in the festivals that you've done. Have you ever had an anxiety to playing in front of people?
That's complicated. That's like, because it's not a I don't want to go out there kind of anxiety, but you know, even early on, like when there's next to no one out there, if my brain was like, something's not right here, it would start doing weird shit, like getting antagonistic to, like, maybe even passive aggressive or something to the audience. Where, like, I used to have this song called The Boring Song, and it only has that line, the song gets boring after a while, and I play that till they turn the power off, just loop it, and do stuff like that. And I think that's a coping mechanism for or was, but these days, I wouldn't say I have anxiety and things, just occasional regrets.
Well, you just played the Lollapalooza Festival, and that was, you know, one of a handful of shows that you had just played after a year and a half off, December 19 to 2021 July, right? I mean, was it weird getting back out there and performing?
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of this tour, from where we are right now, which is kind of, dare I say, nailing it. The first week or so, we had the whole new record, and there was like a kind of some changes in the lineup. There was like it was a bit different. There's just COVID rust on some level. I had to restart some songs like 3 times, just be like, okay, stop and start. Some of the new ones, because they were a little tricky to play. I'm glad that part of it's past. I blacked out right then. What was the question?
Was there any anxiety getting back out and performing in front of an audience after so long away?
A bit of hand wringing, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long enough amount of time that I wasn't I had to see it done a few times to be like, yeah, I can. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember how to do this.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't like falling around with my pants around my ankles or something like, oh, it's happening.
Yeah. Did you have any performances privately or with a small group in that little window? You had to have wanted to do something and get it out, or maybe it was on your own. I don't know.
I mean, I was working on the record pretty hard through a good deal of that. And when I wasn't working on that, you know, I've got kids who are relatively new to the world, and they're you know, like, it's pretty easy to just spend every waking second, you know, doing kid stuff, dealing with you know, all things baby and toddler and stuff. So, you know, like, no, I didn't have, you know, and everyone, you know, at least, you know, like everyone I knew was pretty isolated during the pandemic, except for, you know, we created some like acceptable bubbles for like tracking, you know, making, you know, like you know, you had your pods, you had your pandemic pods, and stuff. And so, yeah, I got to play music in a studio way, which is very different.
Yeah, no, it's a private setting and nobody else is in there but yourself. Isaac, it's interesting. Again, I've been doing this almost as long as you have. I think we're almost the same age. It's like, would you do me a favor? Would you tell me what your relationship with radio is? I've been on the cusp of you seemingly, let me be very honest, seemingly being in like and not being in like, and it's like I feel like we're this girlfriend that you come back in and out of love with.
Well, and you know, radio. When I was a kid, radio was curated by the DJ, and I can tell from the walls behind you and stuff that your radio is more curated, DJ curated.
Absolutely.
You know, like there's a vibe, but you know, like when it becomes like just, you know, like there's different types of radio, and my relationship with radio depends on that. Like college radio can be great because it's, you know, like it's people getting to, you know, like sit there and play what they like and things. And then, you know, like then there's certain types of it where it's an office job, and I'm not comfortable in that setting, you know, like, oh, here's our airplane, just a second.
A few moments later.
So I listen to the radio. And the radio that I tend to listen to is a lot more random and less structured, you know, like, like I'm not going to hear Californication, you know, 40 times a day on the stations I like listening to things, if that makes sense.
No, that absolutely makes sense. And I think it's a little bit, if I might be candid with you, it's a little bit how I like my baseball. I do love Major League Baseball, but those guys are getting paid a whole lot of money, right? To take supplements, go to the gym, have an image, and all of these things. But what I really love is Little League Baseball, because nobody's getting paid. It's all heart. It's all art. There's tears and scabs, and because you slid into second base, and fastballs to the face because that mound is way closer than the big leagues. You know what I mean? Right. It's there's some heart and there's some soul. And there's no big giant paycheck in the end, and it's why they're doing it. You know what I mean? And I know that you early on paid a lot of dues out on the road, playing small shows, playing basements, and now for a good long time you've been celebrated as a top tier artist in alternative radio, and that's interesting. I mean, how does that make
good news? That's good to hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know here. I know you've had a flag in the ground here for a long time. So, and we appreciate it. We're looking forward to you coming to San Diego and keeping that flag waving at Cal Coast Credit Union Open Air Theater. The Golden Casket, 12 songs, 50 minutes. Beautiful piece of music from you guys again, your 7th studio album. I know we are playing the hell out of We Are Between here on the radio. I do have a favorite song on the record, and it's Leave the Light On. Can I ask,
nice.
Yeah. Can I ask you about that song? There's something, there's an instrument in there that I can't put my finger on, and it's the haunting single note that follows the chorus. Does that ring a bell? Maybe you know.
Does it go
It hums. It's like I feel like it's a note that gets hung on, and I have
to go through the whole song in my head now to get to it.
I don't want to have you sing it all, but what are the instruments on that record? And maybe that'll be the identifier.
Some of them aren't even instruments, and they're just sounds from around the room. Things. Yeah. You know what you're talking about is called a water drum. It's a instrument from Africa, and I don't think it actually has water in it. But it's kind of gives a reverby ghost sound. And things, but it, as though it's from the bottom of an old steel drum or something.
Yeah. Oh, please use more. I love it. It hits my soul.
I mean, yeah, there's lots of neat. Well, that sound you're hearing right now also is an airplane. Was it an airplane?
It wasn't an airplane. In this particular song, which is the interview between Isaac Brock and me here at 91X, Marty, that's the instrument of our interview.
One of my favorite sounds on the record is just if you get your hands really good or dry, or put like a lavender oil and a drying essential oil on it, it's just the friction from my fingers going breaking the wind would pitch down and tune this stuff. There's this whole sound that I really love that is it sounds like water dropping but rhythmically, and that's this weird little like modular synth that you can build. It started out as there's that one that was sounding like a typewriter, but it was a modular synth too. Yeah, just this and that, man. A bucket of broken glass.
My wife will be watching this, and she'll be like, "You were talking to Isaac Brock of Modest Mouse, and he brought up essential oils, and you didn't ask him what his favorite essential oil, the most healing of all the oils, is. Why did you not? You know that I sell and am a part of the essential oils world. Why would you not bring up essential oils and talk to me about that?"
In my pocket, like or your backpack, like, okay, I'm going somewhere and I need to have like an all-purpose essential oil. It's gonna be lavender. It's easy because you can do anything with it. You can, on top of it, you can even eat this stuff. Brush your teeth with it. You can, you can make frictiony sounds with your fingers with it. Yeah. You can remove adhesive with it.
Yeah. A little on the neck, sometimes under the nose, right? My wife will do peppermint on my thumb if I have hiccups. I don't know if this is true or not, but I do it. She put 30 seconds. I don't know.
And what's your experience been? Does that work?
Whether it's placebo or true,
or the thumb in your mouth.
There's a thumb. I feel better. I feel it's because it's a suggestion from somebody that I love, and then I take it they're looking after my spirit, and then that's what happens.
Yeah, peppermint's supposed to be a baller one for a lot of reasons, but I've just got to spit this out. Everyone has a hiccup cure, but mine is the one true one. Light a couple matches, like books, and as they're lighting, toss them into a cup of water. Drink some of the water. The sulfur that was burnt off in it, sulfur stops the spasm in your. The science is that it actually, like, your hiccups are a spasm, and it does something to stop the muscle from spasming.
That needs to get on your Wikipedia page too, along with 7 amazing albums over almost 30 years. Isaac Brock, Modest Mouse, has a cure for the hiccups. So amazing, man. So great to talk to you. Appreciate you making the time.
Talk to you too.
San Diego loves you, and we love you here at 91X, Isaac.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man.
91X.